Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are confronting a feeling that I think literally every single person who works with data has felt deep in their bones. It's that moment, the one you open a new workbook, you connect to the data source, your coffee is hot, you are ready to conquer the world, and then absolute silence. Just a blank white screen.
The blank canvas paralysis. It is the universal analyst experience. You have the tools, you have the data, but the starting part is suddenly the hardest thing in the world.
It really is. You just sit there staring at the drag fields to your text, and suddenly you forget everything you know about analytics. But looking at the stack of research we have on the desk today, it seems like that era of staring at the void might actually be ending. We are diving into the architecture of intelligent analytics, specifically focusing on Tableau agent.
Which many listeners might remember as Einstein Copilot before the big rebrand.
Right. But reading through this, it feels like it has evolved into something way more substantial than just a chatbot that spits out a bar chart. We are seeing terms like agentic analytics all over the documentation. It feels less like a tool and more like a coworker.
It is a massive shift, and we have to orient ourselves in time here because this field moves so fast. We are recording this in January 2026. The landscape has changed dramatically just in the last few months.
Yeah, I noticed in the notes that back in October 2025, Salesforce rebranded Data Cloud to Data 360. And now, looking at the ecosystem, AI isn't just a bolt-on feature anymore. It seems woven into the actual fabric cloud, server, prep, everything.
It is everywhere, and the mission for this deep dive is to get past the marketing fluff. It is easy to get dazzled by the magic of typing a question and getting a visualization, but we need to unpack what is happening under the hood. We need to look at the user experience, the security architecture, which is honestly fascinating, and the surprisingly massive differences between using this in the cloud versus on-premise.
That distinction between cloud and server actually shocked me when I got into the technical specs. I think a lot of people assume AI is AI, but here, the plumbing is completely different.
Completely different. And the risks are different, too.
We will definitely get into that. But let's start with the fun part. Let's meet Tableau Agent. If I am an analyst sitting at my desk today, staring at that blank screen we talked about, what does this actually look like?
So imagine you are in your flow, whether that is web authoring, Tableau Desktop v2025 or later, or even Tableau Prep. You have a conversational assistant pane on the side. But calling it a chatbot kind of does it a disservice. It's context aware.
Meaning it knows what data I'm looking at. It's not just searching a help database.
Exactly. It reads the metadata of the data source you are connected to. The most obvious capability is visual analysis. You can say something like, show me the distribution of student grades, or how many action movies did each director make? And it doesn't just give you a text answer. It literally builds the viz. It places the pills on the shelves, chooses the mark type, maybe a histogram or a bar chart, and renders it right there.
Okay, but honestly, I can drag and drop pretty fast. I've been doing this a while. Where this gets interesting for me is the calculations. I cannot tell you how much of my life I have wasted Googling reject syntax or trying to remember how to format a date difference.
That is the massive pain point solver here. With Tableau Agent, you don't need to leave the window to search for syntax. You can just type, create a field that calculates the difference between case open and closed dates and round up to weeks. The agent writes the syntax, names the field, and this is the part that I think changes the game. It explains the calculation to you.
That explanation part is crucial because otherwise it's just a black box, right? If it breaks later or if I need to tweak it, I need to know how the logic actually works.
Precisely. It turns the tool into a tutor. It says, I used daydiff with the week argument, so you actually learn the language while you work. And this extends to data preparation too.
In Tableau Prep?
Yes. Since version 2025.2, if you are in Tableau Prep, you can ask it to suggest cleaning steps. If you have messy string data, maybe inconsistent casing or weird characters, it can generate the rejects to clean it up, or it can propose a multi-step plan to normalize a data set.
That's incredible. And I saw something about it helping with the bane of everyone's existence, documentation.
Ah, yes. In Tableau Catalog, it can look at your tables and columns and auto-generate descriptions. So your metadata is actually searchable.
That sounds like a dream because nobody likes writing data dictionary descriptions. But let's pump the brakes for a second. This sounds magical, but I know you're going to tell me there are guardrails. It can't do everything right.
No, and it is vital to understand the human-in-the-loop concept here. It is not a magic wand. First off, currently it operates on a per-sheet basis. You cannot ask it to build me a dashboard about sales performance and expect a fully formatted dashboard with 4 charts, filters, and interactivity to just pop into existence.
So it's one chart at a time. It's a helper, not a replacement.
Correct. It also cannot perform data modeling. It won't create joins or relationships for you, and it cannot change data types. If your data foundation is rotten, if your joins are wrong, or you have string fields that should be integers, the agent cannot fix that foundation.
So if I have bad joins, the AI is just going to give me bad charts faster.
Exactly. Garbage in, garbage out at light speed. It also struggles with high cardinality fields, those messy columns with thousands of unique values. It might need you to help it filter those manually because scanning 10,000 unique text strings is computationally heavy and confusing for the context window.
And just to be clear, because I know someone is going to try it, it doesn't answer general knowledge questions, right?
No. You cannot ask it to settle a bet about which cat breed is the friendliest or who won the 1996 World Series. It is grounded strictly in your business data.
Okay, so strictly business, that's the what, but the how is where people usually get nervous, specifically security. If I am typing proprietary sales data into this thing, or patient health records, is that going to a public model? Is ChatGPT training on my company's secrets?
This is the #1 question. And for cloud users, the answer lies in something called the Einstein trust layer.
I've seen that term thrown around in all the press releases. Is it just a firewall?
It's more of a security pipeline that every single request has to travel through. Think of it like a biological airlock. Step 1 is secure data retrieval. When you ask a question, the system grabs the relevant context from your data, but, and this is key, it respects all your existing Tableau permissions. It won't retrieve data you aren't allowed to see.
Okay, so it doesn't bypass row-level security. That's a massive relief for admins.
Right. Then comes the really technical cool part, pattern-based data masking. Before the prompt is ever sent to the large language model, the trust layer uses machine learning to scan for PII names, emails, phone numbers.
And it hides them.
It replaces them with generic tokens. So the LLM receives a prompt that looks like show sales for person 1 instead of show sales for John Doe. The LLM processes the logic, does the math, sends the answer back, and then the trust layer unmasks it, swapping the tokens back for the real names before showing it to you.
So the external AI, whether that's OpenAI or whoever, never actually sees the real PII. It just sees person 1.
Exactly. And then there is the zero data retention policy. It is essentially a handshake deal between Salesforce and providers like OpenAI or Azure. They agree that no data is stored on their side and absolutely no data is used for model training. The LLM processes the request and then immediately forgets it.
That seems pretty watertight. But how do we know it's working? Is there a paper trail? Because trust me, we aren't storing it. Isn't exactly a compliant strategy that holds up in court.
There is a paper trail. If you are a Tableau Plus user, every interaction, every trust signal, and even toxicity scores checks to ensure the AI isn't being rude or biased are logged in Data 360.
Data 360, formerly Data Cloud.
Right. This is the audit trail. Admins can use what's called the digital wallet dashboard to see exactly what is happening. And this actually connects to the new billing model that started back in October 2025.
Right, the credits thing. I remember hearing that it got complicated. How does that work now?
It's actually fascinating because it aligns the cost with the value. So using the AI generating a viz or writing a calc doesn't consume Einstein request credits anymore. Instead, the storage of that audit trail consumes data cloud credits.
Wait, so you are paying for the accountability, not the thought process?
Essentially, yes. It incentivizes usage because the act of asking isn't metered in the same way, but it ensures you pay for the governance storage. It's roughly 24 rows of data ingested per API call.
That is a really smart shift. It makes it easier to just experiment without worrying that every question costs $1. Now, you mentioned earlier that there is a massive difference if you are on Tableau Server versus Tableau Cloud. I feel like a lot of learners out there might assume AI is AI, regardless of where the software lives.
And that would be a dangerous assumption. This is the fork in the road. Tableau Server 2025.3 enables AI, yes, but the architecture is radically different because Server sits behind your own firewall.
So it doesn't use the Einstein trust layer.
It does not. If you are on Server, you are using a direct connection. You, as the organization, have to bring your own API key currently for OpenAI and plug it directly into Tableau Server.
Whoa. So what happens to that fancy data masking we just talked about, the tokenization, the airlock?
It is gone. Or rather, it is now your responsibility. The safety net of the trust layer is absent. Your organization is responsible for ensuring that PII is handled correctly according to your specific legal agreement with OpenAI.
That puts a massive amount of weight on the server admins. You're trading convenience for control, but the risk profile shoots up.
It does, and it gets even more granular. On server, you actually have to configure which models are used for which tasks to optimize costs and speed. You don't just turn on AI.
You can pick the specific models. Like, I can choose a cheaper model for easy stuff.
Yes, the documentation recommends a tiered approach. You use GPT-4o Mini for intent recognition. That's just figuring out what the user is asking. It's fast and cheap. But for the heavy lifting, writing the calculation code or defining the viz specs, you use GPT-4o. Specifically, the documentation points to GPT-4o 2024-1120.
That is wildly specific. 2024-1120, why does the date matter?
In the world of LLMs, versions drift. If OpenAI updates the model, it might change how it writes code, which could break your Tableau server integration. By pinning it to that specific snapshot, November 20th, 2024, Salesforce ensures stability. And then for processing the metadata context, you use text embedding 3 small. It's a total DIY approach compared to the managed service of the cloud.
So cloud is like the fully catered experience with security guards included, and servers like, here are the ingredients, you cook it, and you guard the door yourself.
That is a very apt analogy, and for some organizations, banks, government agencies, that control is worth the extra work. But you have to know what you are signing up for.
Okay, so that covers the standard users. But what about the people who want to go even further? I am thinking of the coders, the data scientists who feel boxed in by show me sales by region, the people who want to break the tool.
For them, we have the advanced architectures. We have to talk about Tabby.
Tabby, the Tableau Python server, that's been around for a while, hasn't it?
It has, but in the age of AI, it's finding new life. It allows you to execute Python code directly via calculated fields using functions like scriptorial or scriptdr.
Give me an example of how that fits into this AI conversation. Why would I use that instead of the agent?
Well, the agent is great for standard tasks, but let's say you want to calculate z-scores using scipy.stats or perform sentiment analysis on a text field using a specialized Python library. The agent can't natively run those libraries. With Tappy, you process the data frame in Python, and it returns the result right into your visualization.
So you could build your own mini-agent logic if you wanted to.
In a way, yes. But if you want to go really big, enterprise-grade, big, you look at bring your own LLM or BYO LLM.
This is through Einstein Studio, right?
Correct. This is for organizations that say, we don't want to use the default Salesforce models, we have our own. Maybe they want to connect to Amazon Bedrock to use Anthropic's Claude or Google Vertex for Gemini or Azure OpenAI.
Why would they go through the trouble? Is it just preference? Like, I'm a Google shop, so I want Gemini.
It's usually deeper than preference. 2 main reasons. One is data residency. Maybe you have strict laws saying your data cannot leave a specific region, like Germany or Australia. The default Salesforce models might run in the US, but you can route your BYO model to a server in Frankfurt.
That makes sense. And the second reason?
Specialization. You might have a model that you have fine-tuned specifically on your industry data. Imagine you are in law or medicine. The standard GPT-4 might not understand the subtle difference between 2 obscure medical codes, but your custom-trained model does.
You can plug that genius-level specialist model right into Tableau.
Exactly. There is an LLM open connector that allows you to plug those custom or in-house models right into the ecosystem.
It really seems like there's a tier for everyone. The casual user gets the agent, the enterprise IT team gets the server control, and the developers get Tappy and Einstein Studio.
No. Let's talk about access. How do you actually get these agentic features? I assume this isn't free.
No. That brings us to the business side. Generally, these agentic features sit behind the Tableau Plus bundle.
Tableau Plus, okay. What is in the box?
It is a substantial package. It is not just a software license. It includes that Data 360 instance we talked about, which is crucial for the audit trail. It includes 250,000 data cloud credits, and it includes something called Agentforce Flex credits. Agentforce. That sounds like a superhero team from a bad movie. Agentforce, assemble.
It does a bit, doesn't it? But it signals a vibe shift in the industry. We are moving the conversation from building charts to curating logic.
This is the part that I think scares some people. If the AI creates the chart and writes the calc and documents the data, do we still need analysts? Or are we all out of a job?
This raises the most important question of the day. I would argue we need analysts more than ever, but the role is changing. The analyst shifts from being a builder to a verifier. You become the human in the loop.
The verifier.
Yes. Look, the AI provides a draft, it provides the syntax, but you have to know if that syntax makes sense for the business context. You have to verify that the answer isn't a hallucination. You are no longer valued just for knowing where the comma goes in a formula or how to create a level of detail expression from scratch. You are valued for understanding the business logic and ensuring the AI is applying it correctly.
That is actually a relief. It takes away the tedious part, the syntax errors, the formatting battles, and leaves the thinking part.
Precisely. It frees you to ask better questions. It frees you to do the analysis rather than the construction.
So let's recap the three main paths we've covered today, just so everyone has the map in their head.
Right. First, we have the cloud path. Convenient, fully managed, secure via the Einstein trust layer. It's the agent experience most people will see.
Then the server path.
The DIY powerhouse. Direct connection to OpenAI, no trust layer, granular control over models like GPT-4o and that specific November 2024 snapshot, but very high responsibility for security.
And the custom path.
Tappy and bring your own LLM for when you need specific Python libraries or specialized fine-tuned models from providers like Anthropic or Google.
It is a lot to take in, but it feels like the future is definitely here. It's not coming. It's already installed on the server.
It is. And if I could leave the listener with one final provocative thought.
Go for it. What should keep us up at night?
We talked about the AI writing calculations and building views, but remember, the AI is only as good as the metadata it reads. If your column headers are cryptic like colo123 or sales final for final v2, the agent is going to be blind. It cannot read your mind. It can only read your metadata.
That is a huge point. So data hygiene matters more than ever.
Exactly. The value of an analyst is shifting toward being a data steward. Is your data clean enough for an agent to understand it? If not, the most intelligent architecture in the world won't help you.
Ooh, that is a good one. You can't just throw AI at a messy spreadsheet and expect a miracle.
No miracles, just logic.
Well, on that note, I think everyone has some homework to do. Go check your Data 360 settings, see if your digital wallet is ready for the new credit consumption model, and for the love of data, go rename those messy columns.
Please rename them.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive into the architectures of intelligent analytics. We will catch you on the next one.